to ensure journeys are fueled, lives are saved, and the road users have safety tips. Millennium Radio, in conjunction with Puma Energy and Zambia Road Safety Trust, brings to you Road Safety Radio program every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 16 to 17 hours. Remember, it's Road Safety Radio program every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 16 to 17 hours. Brought to you by Puma Energy, fueling journeys, and Zambia Road Safety Trust, saving lives on Zambian roads. Be road smart, arrive alive and safe.
Millennium Radio.
Good afternoon to you, our dear listener, listening to Millennium Radio 90.5 FM. Thank you very much for joining us on Monday's edition of Road Safety Program. I'm your host. My name is Priska Lumengo Banda, and in the studio, I'm joined by Police Superintendent in charge of Road Traffic Safety Awareness, Mr. Yorampiri. And on the other side, I have Zambia Road Safety Trust Communications Advisor, Mr. Mwale. Mr. Piri, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Priska, and good afternoon, our dear listeners.
Mr. Mwale, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you, and good afternoon to all our dear lovely listeners.
Okay, and today on the program, we'll be looking at two things. We'll talk about ban on use of unregistered motor vehicles, and we'll also talk about child road safety education. Those are the two topics we'll be looking at this afternoon: ban on use of unregistered motor vehicles and child road safety education. You can also catch us live on our Facebook page, which is Millennium Radio 90.5 FM. Millennium Radio 90.5 FM, that is our Facebook page where you can catch this program live as we talk to you right now. Remember, later on we'll be able to open the phone lines and the numbers to get in touch with us as 0962 87 0921 or 0953 448551. Those are the two numbers to use if you want to get in touch with us when we open the phone lines. Mr. Perry, good afternoon once again. I'll start with you.
Yes.
Can you clarify on the ban on use of unregistered motor vehicles? And the question I would also want you to answer is this ban in connection with the invocation of Article 31? We know that recently President Edgar Lungu made some pronouncements in wanting to see to it that there is security following what has been happening in the country. Therefore, he invoked Article 31. Is this ban in connection with Article 31?
Thank you very much, Priska. Yes, indeed, we need to make some clarification on the statement from the police on the ban of use of unregistered motor vehicles. It is not really in connection with the statutory instrument number 53 of 2017, but that we already had in place the SI to deal with unregistered motor vehicles as well as vehicles on transit. This is SI number 76 of 2016. Maybe we did not enforce it in totality. What we are trying to say here is that in addition with the threat on national security, we are being reminded as enforcement officers to be strict on enforcing this piece of registration, in the sense that vehicles which are unregistered are a danger to our security, because anybody can use this vehicle which is unregistered, knowing very well that it cannot be detected because the vehicle is unregistered. The SI 76 is very clear. Of course, we are talking of vehicles which have come into the country, and when they just cross the border, they are given a temporary registration number by RATSA. So when you are given that temporary registration number is actually valid for 2 weeks. So on the expiry of that 2 weeks, you are not required to drive that motor vehicle on our roads. So that is what we want to emphasize. is 2 weeks period which you are given, and once that 2 weeks expire, please do not drive that motor vehicle on our road. It must have also insurance. Each time you are moving, you must have at least documentation to prove that it is your vehicle, and that that temporal reg number is also correctly issued to you. We have seen a lot of crime being committed by people driving unregistered motor vehicles or vehicles with completely no registration marks. Some have gone to the extent of giving a false reg on the motor vehicle. But this time around, we are any suspicious looking motor vehicle, we get the reg number and verify quickly. If it differs with the actual vehicle that person is driving, we quickly pounce on that vehicle. So for unregistered, it's very, very difficult for us to investigate. And that's why we are saying this vehicle which is unregistered should be impounded there and then. And you are not going to pay, and you think when you pay, you'll be given your vehicle immediately. No. We want to investigate further. Why are you driving unregistered motor vehicle? What is your intention for use of unregistered motor vehicle? Is it trying to evade tax? Or is it you are trying to get to be involved in criminal activities? What are you hiding for your vehicle to be registered? So this is why we are saying whether you have money to pay, if your vehicle is impounded for that particular offense, we may keep it a little bit longer than we were doing it. Maybe that's where now you'll be saying the vocation of Article 31, where now we are given an extra powers. Of course, we are not going to abuse these powers. What we want to do is to do the correct thing. And officers, you are listening out there, let us do the correct thing so that we are not blamed for this. We are saying any vehicle, according to the Road Traffic Act, a vehicle moving on our roads should be registered. So if even just merely a number plate falling off is an offense, or if you deliberately remove a vehicle which is already registered, you remove the registration marks and you want to drive on the road without registration marks, it's an offense. So those the law is already there. It's not that it's a latest SI coming on board. I had to go to government printers to get the government gazette myself physically, and we have not yet any SI which is talking about unregistered motor vehicles. So we are still relying on the existing laws, that is the SI number 76. Then in addition, maybe I can mention of those who are in car business.
Yes, that was actually what I wanted to ask you, Mr. P. What happens to those, because we know that they are in car business, and most of these cars or vehicles we see in our streets. Just to mention, for example, let's talk about, is it Katondo Street? We have quite a number of car dealers there. Yes, in Kwazi Road. What happens to them, or what do they do? Because you can't register a vehicle which you know that this is on sale.
Thank you. Is this business they are doing a legal business? If it's a registered, then they are supposed to be given a dealer's license. So those vehicles are supposed to have dealer's license number plates, and those are supposed to be in the showroom. You cannot be driving this vehicle which is unregistered on the road from home to wherever you are displaying it for the sake of your business. And I got a statement on news that they were requesting that they should be given a special deal that they can continue driving these unregistered vehicles to wherever they want to display them. But I mean, even criminals can do that. They can pretend as if they are in sale of motor vehicles and use this unregistered motor vehicle, pretending they are going to display it, when actually their intention is to go and commit a crime. So we are saying we are sorry for those involved in motor vehicle sales. They have to do proper business, let them register themselves. We have seen others, they have regrouped themselves. If you go along Great North Road, just after Chandwe Msonda, before the rail line, you find there's a place where they have assembled these vehicles. They are not moving them anywhere. they are selling from there. A vehicle which is unregistered, even the insurance is given a temporal insurance.
Okay.
So if, for example, a vehicle does not sell, 3 months elapses, it means even the insurance has expired. So what happens? For a properly registered car dealer, you'll be using or should be using the car dealer's insurance.
Okay, and Mr. Piri, let us also talk about, there is also an issue of use of foreign registered motor vehicles. We'll cite an example. For example, diplomats, when they return home, they come with these vehicles. What happens to that? Because I read the statement which was issued by the police, and also there is a ban on that to say you'll be making sure that a Zambian does not drive a motor vehicle with a foreign number plate. Can you also explain about that one?
Thank you very much. Let me take this rare privilege to warn those returning diplomats with due respect that they should remove those foreign number plates. They should remove and properly register those vehicles. The government has already given instructions that if we come across such vehicles, they should be impounded. It's not in order to get a vehicle. Let me just give a blank from UK. People are even buying vehicles from UK now, and suppose it's transported through a courier and it comes into the country with that foreign registration number plate. It's not supposed to be used in our country.
Okay.
What is supposed to happen is at the entry point, the number plate, that foreign registration number plate, should be removed and be given a temporary registration number. It will also fall in the category of the 2 weeks period for that vehicle to be registered. So some are returning residents. I know those who have been working in other countries, not just diplomats, but even we have nurses, we have teachers who have been teaching outside our country. And as they return, maybe when they were still in that country, they bought a vehicle registered in that country. What are they supposed to do? They are supposed to surrender that foreign registration number and also get a temporary registration plate, so that they are allowed to drive in our country within 2 weeks. Then there are also those others who are visiting. Those who are visiting, they are given a temporary import license.
Okay.
So again, there's also those who are doing projects. Those vehicles are not permanently in the country, but they are going back to the country of origin. Those will still be allowed to be driven in our country.
Our dear listener, in case you've just tuned in, you're listening to Road Safety on Millennium Radio 90.5 FM. And today we're looking at two things: ban on use of unregistered motor vehicles and also child road safety education. My guest is Police Superintendent in charge of Road Traffic Safety Awareness, Mr. Yoram Piri, and also Zambia Road Safety Trust Communications Advisor, Mwale. Mr. Mwale, talking about child road safety education, why child road safety education?
Well, I think when we talk about child road safety education, I think it also relates to what Mr. Piri was just talking about the dangers of these unregistered motor vehicles are really posing in our community. There's been so many incidences about hit and run, killing children in our community, and then when they try to trace, say no, the vehicle was not registered, which is really making things difficult for the police, like he said, on how they should trace all those vehicles as well as to investigate. Well, so in this regard, I think our concern is that if you look at the death statistics that we've been having in our country, that is year in, year out, you find that every time you find that children haven't really been left behind. And what is so worrying also is that the children that are really killed are those children that are actually active and actually go to school. So hence, as the Zambia Road Safety Trust in partnership with Puma, we've really we've really embarked on a very serious campaign, especially where child safety is concerned. And so far, there are so many schools that we've reached in Lusaka, as well as in the Copper Belt. Hence, we feel that if we teach these children when they are still young, they'll grow with that mentality. They'll grow up being responsible drivers. They'll grow up respecting other road users than the current situation that we see on our roads.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the school area infrastructure improvement? Who are you working with?
Well, with the simple infrastructure improvement, we are working with our international partners, such as the AMEND, which is an international NGO, and also we'll be implementing some of the school area assessment improvement with the FIA Foundation as well as the FedEx. This is because there are schools that, with the massive road construction that we have in our country, you find that just 1 meter away, there is a school gate. Okay, now with the excitement that these children have, especially the time that they are knocking off, they are direct exposed to danger, and these children are really exposed to danger such that in case of anything, we've seen that we've got reports that the children are actually injured. Some of them have actually been killed. Okay, and from the 2206, just last year, okay, more than 200 children were killed and seriously injured. So that is really our concern. So with the infrastructure improvement that we've embarked on, and has been said before, even on this forum, as the trust, we believe in evidence-based approach, where we have to teach and well as expose these children to the real situation that they expect when they go out there, after teaching them in the schoolyard, as well as when they go out, what really they expect to find.
Okay, and is it possible just to mention some of the schools where you have supplemented child road safety education, and what is the impact so far?
Well, to name just among the few schools that we've really provided the child safety education, namely we've done it at New Kanyama Primary School, a school which has got a population of more than 5,000 children. Okay, as well as we've conducted the child safety education at Twashuka Primary School, again in Kanyama, as well as the New Kamlanga Primary School in Chawama. Then there's also Nelson Mandela, which primary school, which is in Chunga.
Okay.
Then in Mtendela as well, some schools in Mtendela, about 2, Vera as well as Tukuko Primary School, as well as Vera Chirua in the Copper Belt. And the way we do is because of the research that we do conduct before we move in, and we only target schools that have really have really exposed the children at high risk of being injured or killed. Those are the schools that we really target, so that child road safety education is improved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our dear listener, you're listening to Road Safety. Remember, you can catch us live on our Facebook page, which is Millennium Radio 90.5 FM, where you can post your questions and contributions concerning what we're looking at this afternoon, which is ban on use of unregistered motor vehicles and child road safety education. Before we open the phone lines, Mr. Mwale, how many children have you taught road safety education or have been taught road safety education by the Zambia Road Safety Trust? Briefly. Well,
briefly, I think I even stated in my earlier statement, so far we've taught more than 50,000 children.
Okay.
Yes.
Our dear listener, we're now opening the phone lines, and the numbers to get in touch with us are 0962 870921 0953 448551. Those are the 2 numbers to use if you have any question or any contribution concerning what we're looking at this afternoon. Remember, my guests are Mr. Yoram Piri, who is Police Superintendent in charge of Road Traffic Safety Awareness, who is also National Road Safety Coordinator, and Mr. Mwale, who is coming from the Zambia Road Safety Trust. The numbers are 0962 87 0921 or 0953448551. You can also post your comments or questions on our Facebook page, where we've put up this program right now, where you're catching us live. And we have a comment or a question from Lion on our Facebook page, who is saying, Mr. Piri, why are traffic officers using private cars to conduct roadblocks?
Okay.
Yes, you can respond to that question. And you will agree with me to say this is not the first time we've received such questions or such complaints from the general public, Mr. Piri. And the trend has continued despite you talking about it on this forum.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it's unfortunate because we already gave instructions that no private vehicle should be used for patrols, especially traffic officers, or to be driven to maybe, let's say, 10 kilometers away to go and mount a snap check, or it could be a checkpoint, because we have received a lot of queries as to who is funding the fuel for such vehicles. So to avoid a lot of talk, we have said no use of private vehicles for patrols or maybe rather mounting of checkpoints on our roads. Also, I want to mention that sometimes people have queried us to say, how are we going to identify that these are real police officers? For example, if a private vehicle comes in front of another vehicle and trying to block it or to stop that particular vehicle. So they are saying even criminals then will be given power to stop people, and people will be robbed in that case. So we are saying our officers should use registered vehicles, police vehicles, so that they are easily identified that they are real police officers. But sometimes you find that a station will not have a police vehicle. So that's where we should understand, in case of an accident, you find that the same police officer, traffic officer, may use his or her vehicle to go to a scene of a crime where the accident has occurred. At that moment, you will not hear any queries or any complaints from members of the public. So we are asking members of the public to appreciate our work. We are doing something to control the use of these private vehicles, but at times there's a necessity for these officers to use private vehicles.
0962 87 0921 0953 448551. Millennium Radio, good afternoon.
Afternoon, how are you?
Fine, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, and how are you?
Fine, thank you. Who are we talking to?
You're talking to Michael?
Yes, Michael, go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, the contribution is concerning the program that is on right now. I'm in my office. Yeah, I don't know, because I can listen to the radio. Yeah. Yeah, my concern has been with these traffic police. Yeah, you'd see them in the morning at lunch hour, coming from Central Police heading into town. And then later on, you'd see them jumping off their van. They are all over. I don't know if now they have just made it a trend to say, at such a time we'll go to Freedom Way, at such a time we'll go to the Mumba Road to intercept their buses. Maybe near a way of which maybe those people could be collecting levies, or maybe arresting or impounding those vehicles that obligate the traffic laws. One of them maybe could be those people should be permanently stationed at those notorious stations. Talk of like the one for Matero, the one for Chawama, the one for Mandevu. unlike a situation where we see kapena wamvera chabenjala mu offices umuveni batengana mu mavani wamwenda mu road and wakagwira futi aja mabasi. I don't think that money goes into the government coffers or the treasury or what, or maybe they just share it amongst themselves, because now it's like it has become a habit. Wakongola kaloba kukombonuko ankara alibe batengana mu van kendi kagwire mabasi bagwira na mabasi sometimes alibe na mlandu. And those guys also, my drivers of bus, they should be charged heavily so that next time they don't repeat the same mistake.
Okay.
I'd like to job 50 kwacha, 100 kwacha.
Thank you.
I end up okay, all right.
Thank you very much. 0962-870921 or 0953-448551. Those are the two numbers to use if you want to get in touch with us. 0962-870921 or 0953-448551. Remember, you can as well catch us live on our Facebook page, which is Millennium Radio 90.5 FM in capital letters. Mr. Michael raising a concern about traffic officers from the Central Police. And also, I should also add, they have a tendency of overloading. You always talk about overloading, Mr. P, but I've seen that van several times, and most of the times it is overloaded with your officers.
Oh, thank you very much. It's unfortunate that we can think that maybe when you see officers patrolling at lunchtime, it means they are looking for money for lunch or maybe to pay Kalova. It's unfortunate.
No, if it becomes the trend that every 7 hours you see some officers, you get to be suspicious.
No, we have what we are calling peak hours, and what we do is that in the morning, before 7, appreciate the work of these traffic officers. Yes, they could be going astray in one way or another, but let us also appreciate what they do. In the morning, you see them on all major junctions to try to regulate traffic. All major junctions are covered where we expect problems of traffic. And even at lunch, even as knocking off time. But they also find time to patrol our roads. Mm-hmm. So time for patrols is not restricted. So you cannot restrict officers to only patrol when it's not lunch hour. We are not going to fear that we'll be suspected to be looking for money for lunch, no. They are on government payroll, and they're just supposed to do what is right.
Okay, I think the concern here, Mr. Piri, it is the way it is done. One, you should also talk about issues of overloading and the way they jump from that van, scaring motorists. Yes.
That van, rather, we may call it is a small troop carrier. It's done in the way that it's open for easy disembarking, like we are saying, jumping out of that to go to any offender. Because we have offenders who, if you are not quick to act, they will drive away and run away. So sometimes officers jump out, but if you talk of overloading, we are also against the idea of overloading into our own police vehicles. Okay. That is not allowed. We should condemn that, the overloading part. Okay. But he also talked about putting officers on permanent positions. We try to do that. For example, we know that at the Hungry Lion, in Town Freedom Way, at pep stores, we can put these officers there. But what we should condemn also is the commuters. If we have officers at Hungry Lion, no bus will stop at Hungry Lion. But 200 meters away from where the officer is stationed, you find that a bus is going to stop. Okay. And the commuters will run after it and jump while it is still moving. So that we should also condemn the commuters for boarding these buses from undesignated areas.
We'll pick another call. Millennium Radio, good afternoon.
Mama Krista, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
This is Mr. Msendo.
Yes, Mr. Msendo, quickly.
Yes. Wapili Mwachoma Bwanji.
Bwino Bwanji wa Msendo.
Mwachoma. You know, the problem with us Zambians is like we like shooting ourselves in the foot. You know, one moment we'll be complaining, hey, pamozi, then we'll come back, we end up complaining. For me, I think it's good that when you are mounting spot checks, you have to be mobile. You have to move around and so on. So there's nothing wrong with that kind of thing. Anyway, why I rang my PN, right now I'm coming from the partner Pankira, Nachugera ku Mimosa, Kurata. Naenda paja na 6 o'clock, 5 minutes to 6 I was on the queue. Then the number 7 and sure kulende paja, naenda kujamajita bonse, yenda kuti nitenge certificate kupeza chikuu ni chino nanga vantu vachoka kutava.
Okay.
So motoka na manje nikamba so nikapotinga certificate.
Arrangements number 7.
Number 7 na please kageni.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened with you collaborate na Vanzani. Okay, maybe they're the ones to tell you because even as at now Nachokerako and Seja, but no, now it's been authorized, but they don't have a printer. Meaning there were a lot of it was almost chaos.
Okay.
So because of having a certificate of fitness, because it's not our own problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Msendo. We'll pick another call. Millennium Radio, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, please.
Good afternoon. Who are we talking to?
Moses,
Moses, go ahead.
Moses.
Kuliko idanda makamaka kuli abantu ogulisa mamotoka wafunzireko kaili mwelabira kuti yayi kulie motoka ili number plate yoko yali mpakira ya pezako ka number plate mbaba ogulisa mamotoka idanda ula kuti ambaseo ntima bweresa amu bwanji kai kumapezeka muntu afuna akaone kamotoka kaja kaliye number plate akuti nkanyowani ngankale kulibe motoka yanyowani those are second hand cars. But I don't know how you are going to work with them so that at least their businesses are not disturbed. Thank you, sir. We are listening.
Thank you very much. 0962-870921, 0953-448551. Those are the two numbers to use if you want to get in touch with us. You're listening to Road Safety, brought to you by Puma Energy in conjunction with the Zambia Road Safety Trust. Today we're looking at two things: ban on use of unregistered motor vehicles and also child road safety education. My guests are in the studio. I have Mr. Yoram Piri from the Zambia Police Traffic Department and Mr. Mwale from Zambia Road Safety Trust, who is Communications Advisor. Millennium Radio, good afternoon. Bueno Banji.
Bueno Banji wako.
Nipunta period ya fitness ikaribani au zinafika.
Simanza matuza zina tuandani?
John.
By John, okay. Okay. I'm sure Mr. P, you've gotten the question. We'll accommodate another call. Millennium Radio, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Okay, someone doesn't want to talk to us. Mr. Perry, we can respond to this.
Yes, thank you. By the way, let us also take the topic of children protection on our roads seriously, so we can also contribute on that subject because it's very, very important. I think we have seen RATSA deploying school wardens in schools trying to assist children to cross into school. There's also a program which we are doing with GRSP to say safe to school, safe back home. This is all in connection to protection of children. As parents release them to school, they should reach school safely and come back home safe. So answering the questions from Mr. Amsendo, I'm glad that people want really to comply. They want to have their vehicles tested for fitness. It's a pity that, yes, there are long queues, and we should appreciate that people really want to have their vehicles tested for fitness, and as well as to do the necessary, like road tax. That is very, very important. We'll see, I will talk to RATSA, but talking about grace period, like John has said, grace period is not in fitness. A grace period is just for the road tax, which was 14 days, and you can, if you look at what the date is today, it's 10th, so meaning we're remaining with 4 days. So maybe that's why you are seeing a lot of people at RATSA offices are trying to do the right thing. But Wamsendo, if your vehicle has been examined and you have those documentation where the RATSA people have certified that it's actually fit, you are remaining only with the printing of your certificate. I believe our officers should also understand that it's not your fault. You are waiting for your certificate to be printed. So that's what I can say, Kuliva Msendo. Then Moses, he's only asking, I think he's also a car dealer.
Yeah, and
he's asking on behalf. Maybe he's also trying to join in the car business. I have already talked about this. It's unfortunate that the car dealers think this law is too tough to them. But we are trying to protect our own country. So wherever there's a law passed, it sometimes affects other people. Mm-hmm. So, like for the night drive, it affected other people's business. Okay. Other people wanted to be driving in the night, but we said, no, look at how many people we're losing, so let us do this. So each law affects other people somehow, but it's for the good of the nation. Okay. So we are trying to improve on security of the country.
Okay. Mr. Miles would want to chip in any of the questions we had from our listeners, or we accommodate another set, of course.
Yeah, I think I can just comment on the same topic like what Mr. Msendo said. I think we need people. We need people that are really concerned, and it's what is just sad is that the long queues that the whole country is experiencing. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure RATSA, they must be doing something possible to ensure that queues are really reduced. Mm-hmm. And also we are also proposing that it needs a lot of now. This is time that we have really to decentralize, as well as to open up so many pain points. Mm-hmm. Okay, to reduce on those queues, because if we have queues, for instance, everyone is rushing to Mimosa, and maybe I don't know. We just have few points here, but we really need points. Like in Matelo, we have a point. In Chawama, we have a point. So that way, it's going really to help us. Like immediately, maybe we have network. Quickly, people can pay, and also they have all this fitness. Okay. Yeah, to avoid the confusion that we have, a person wamugwira kuli wa police hapa no sa alibem sonko motoka ili mkiu kuja, so we can. There's something that really can be done to reduce on the queues that we are experiencing. Let's
see if we can pick our last set. Of course, Millennium Radio. Good afternoon.
Moses, I want to talk about the safety of children. My concern is there are some roads that have no zebra crossing, like maybe you find that Katema Moliro has got no zebra crossing and many other roads. Now I don't know what we maybe are doing about it, because our children have been, they've been victims. Some of them have ended up, dying of the speeding by our drivers. What should be the law of drive? Because I think that sensitization isn't so much there, especially on giving tickets to other road users. So what are you doing to see that there is a little bit of a sensitization, especially on roads like at the Mamurido and other roads that is no zebra crossing? Thank you. We are listening.
Thank you very much, Moses. I'll pick another call. Millennium Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello. Order. Francis Mombe on Road Safety Parliament. How are you? The South Korean press attaché, South Korean press attaché business, Priska.
I'm reviews for you, but I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And the future incoming police commissioner, Honorable Piri.
Good afternoon, Francis.
Yes, this will happen one day. It's not a joke. I'm telling you this. This is going to happen.
Okay, Mr. Mungu, go ahead.
Yes, you are doing a good job, you people.
Thank you.
There's one thing I want to talk about. There's a lot, but I'll just talk about one issue. Last time Piri was not there, we spoke about children being overloaded on buses. They are being overloaded. Yesterday, was it on Friday? I saw another one.
Yes.
Today, I've seen again now. What I want to do to Piri, and to Ratsa. I want to give you the name of I want to give it on the air. If you can allow me in the background, I give you the name of the school where I've seen this thing happening. And children are packed like bags of cement, every day. And it happens between 15:45 and 16:15. I don't know whether parents are aware of this, but I don't want a calamity to happen one day where children die or children are, something happens bad to them, and then when the drivers are driving, I remember I was told to say, you can take a picture or something like that, but I think it is better, Ratsa. I'll tell them where they can find this bus on a daily basis, so that at the end of the day, it will help us save the lives of the children, and it will also teach the authorities to make sure that they buy more buses to accommodate the children, the number of children that they have in these schools. I'm very worried, because children are the future of this nation. So I don't know how you run into, because I don't want to give
Mr. Mumbi, after the program, can you call Mr. Piri? Is that okay? You have his line, right?
I have it, but give it to me just to make sure that...
Okay, we'll give it. Just continue
listening.
We'll
give it because there's also a Bernard who we didn't answer or we didn't give on Friday, so I'll give my number at the end of the program.
Okay, thank you very much. That's how we have it.
Thank you very much. And we have a comment, Mr. Piri, on our Facebook page from Junior Semi, who is saying, is it right for a traffic police officer to get one's driver's license? You can also answer that. We answer these two questions. Both questions are on children, issues of overloading, and also about issues of zebra crossing. Any sensitizations which you are doing at Zambia Road Safety Trust? Yes, from Moses, he was commenting about certain roads do not have pedestrian crossing.
Yes, I think in response to Mr. Moses' concern, I think that's why we talked about infrastructure improvement that the Zambia Road Safety is doing. This is where we are going to see that some of the schools will engage ourselves with other partners to paint and put up these zebra crossing points. And to talk about, to contribute on Mr. Francis Mumbi's contribution about overloading. This is school buses. This is supposed to be taken very, very, very seriously. And from the school, though he hasn't mentioned, it should be from the area which is near or most of the road where he passes. But personally, or even us, we've seen so many buses, especially if you look at just last week, these buses which have started now killing people and injuring people, the LOSA buses. They actually use, most schools engage these LOSA buses which have been outdated. Okay, you find that the chassis is bent, even when it's moving, it's carrying children. You look at it to say, do the authorities think about the safety of children? So that is really important, and the challenge again goes back like to the traffic police officers who check on who are responsible for enforcement to really help us, and maybe because this is a preventable measure. Okay, it's been predicted, and now what we need is intervention that are really going to protect the safety of the children.
Mr. Piri, you want to add something?
Yes,
and a few.
Yes, on Francis Mumbi, the same. Yes, it's true that we have seen several schools abusing children by maybe parking them, sitting on one's laps, which is not good. And in some situations they have gone scot-free, meaning maybe they have not passed anywhere where there's a checkpoint. This happens when they are going to school. This happens when they are knocking off. This happens even when they are undertaking education tours. What they want is to maximize on the cost. The children are asked to contribute something, even when it is a school bus. They are also asked to contribute something if it's education tour, but they do not. The teachers do not want to book. Like he has, Mr. Mwale has alluded to. If you have 150 pupils they are taking for education tour, you have actually to calculate how many buses do we need. If it's a ROSA, how many passengers does the ROSA pick? You should not so because they are small-bodied. People, we can put them on a seat where they're supposed to be 3, we put them 6. That is wrong, and we need to actually intensify as we inspect these school buses being driven on our roads. It's serious, and we must take it very, very serious. Then there was also an issue of our officers grabbing driver's licenses. We have said no to that. They are abusing their powers because what a license is a requirement for one to drive a motor vehicle. So if I grab a license from a motorist, what am I saying? Am I simply saying he should not continue driving? Because I'm not the only police officer on the road. He can meet another officer who also demand to see a driver's license. So we are saying no to grabbing of people's property. It can be passport, driver's license, or any documentation. If the offense is for the driver, deal with the driver. If the offense is for the motor vehicle, deal with the motor vehicle. And that's why we have, with Transparent International Zambia, published a service charter where we're explaining impoundable and non-impoundable offenses. So people should be aware of that.
Mr. Miles, your last words under 20 seconds.
Well, thank you very much, Priska, for featuring us on this program. We really want to appeal to all general members of the public to ensure that we protect our children, because these are the future leaders of tomorrow. And also, let's look out for our children. Mr.
Pri, under 5 seconds.
Thank you. I remind again that all these laws we are talking about, they are either protection of security of the country or your own protection. If you look at all the laws which are coming out, it's either for your own life or the security of the country. So let us adhere to all the laws which are passed.
Our dear listener, we've come to the end of today's segment of Road Safety Program on Millennium Radio. We've been looking at ban on use of unregistered motor vehicles and child road safety education. My name is Priska Lumingo Banda. My guests have been Police Superintendent in charge of road traffic safety awareness, Mr. Yorampiri, and also Mr. Miles Mwale, who is Zambian Road Safety Trust Communications Advisor. Thank you very much for listening. Till next time, which is Wednesday. Always remember to fasten that seatbelt. Remember that speed kills. Do not drink and drive. Bye-bye.
Many other health services.